It's so easy to break someone down, but not easy to build them back up. So when people try to break me down and tell me, oh no, you're a girl, you shouldn't be going to college, you should be focusing on other things like kids, and I'm like, wait, no, this is not happening. My name is Malak Al-Zubir. I'm 16 years old. I'm part of class of 2017 at Tools of Astoria. I grew up in Astoria, Queens, all my life. For a little while, I moved to Yemen, which is my parents' country. I lived there for 2 years. But other than that, America is my home. My parents, they don't speak English, so they don't really get into the school process. So I kind of had to take initiative myself, and I made my sister take me to the open house. And then my sister got really excited about it, and that's when I actually applied to TWILS and got in.
People often get very confused about what our schools are. Are they private schools? Are they academies? Are they charter schools? Our 5 schools in New York City are district public schools, which means our teachers are unionized. They report to the Department of Education. In many ways, they are very similar to other schools in New York City. And yet you walk into any young women's leadership school and it doesn't feel anything like a Department of Education school. And I think that is because of the model and the way that we structure the schools around the education of the whole girl. So just in terms of what you'll notice the minute you walk in, that's different. Girls are in uniforms. The classes are smaller. There's advisory every day. There's, in many schools, project-based learning, students sitting in circles, students taking charge of their own work. There's a full-time director of college counseling, which is the linchpin and the core difference in terms of college access and educating first-generation families about what it means to go to college. Connections between the students and the teachers that are so strong that it feels more like a family.
During the 9th grade, I was going through a really hard time. And I wasn't as confident as I was now. Like, I would always be out there, but I didn't like speaking about my personal problems to anyone at all, not even my closest friends. And there was a week where things weren't working out at home, things weren't working out at school. I just felt like I wasn't good enough at either place. And my advisor reached out to me, and she put me in a safe space, and she said, if you ever need anything, I'm here for you. And it made me feel really comfortable to tell her what was going on, and it was really good for me to tell someone about my feelings. And I think after that moment, I really realized like they are there for you, whether it's your friends or your advisor. And it just made me feel really loved by the fact that she came to me, and I didn't necessarily have to come to her and tell her, hey, I have all these problems. It was like she saw that something was off, and I think that just shows you how much they really notice your daily behavior and who you really are.
I used to have a lot of self-doubt, and then I went to Andrea and talked to her that I was lost and I didn't know what to do. And she believes in everyone, even if you don't believe in yourself, and she tries to push you and make you strive to do what you actually want to do.
My relationship with my students is like a more, I sometimes see it more as just like a student and a teacher. I see it more like we are kind of like a sisterhood because we put ourselves almost in the same position as them. Just like we learn from them, they learn from us. And many times I found myself learning with them. So we go through the same paths and the same problems to get somewhere.
You go into another New York City public school and it's just, day and night, I think it's so special because of everyone involved, right? So, we always talk about stakeholders. So your stakeholders are like your principal, your parents, your students, your teachers, everybody, right? It takes a whole set of people being so incredibly passionate about the mission of this school to really make it work. And I think that's why it is so special, because our teachers care so much.
this whole movement in girls' public education was the brainchild of our founder, Ann Rubenstein Tisch. And Ann was a reporter for NBC News. And Ann was doing a story, I believe, in Wisconsin, on teen pregnancy and on teen moms and what had happened to their lives and their education after they'd given birth. And the way she tells the story is that as she was interviewing these young mothers, it occurred to her that they knew that they were stuck in some ways, and she knew it and they knew it, and there was something that a light bulb went off in her head that said to her, we should be doing better. What could we have offered these girls 4 years ago so they would have had different opportunities and maybe not made all the same choices that they made? And the idea that she came up with was, what if we took the best that we know about in private girls' education and stuck it in the middle of our cities? What if we had the college counselors and the small classrooms and the trips to Europe and the caring teachers and the best quality curriculum, and we put that all in the middle of East Harlem? What would happen for those girls?
The founder has made it very clear that she understands that she grew up in a very privileged home, and so her goal was to get girls who don't have access to that private education, public access to private education. And I feel like that's really important, because if this school wasn't there, I would be at a regular public school where we don't have all the supplies that we have, where we don't have all the advanced technology that is coming out today. And I feel like just having that idea in mind and being exposed to that every day just really makes you grateful for the TWIL's mission statement itself. Every girl does deserve an education. I was at a family dinner and I was speaking to my cousin about how Columbia is the goal for me and I want to go on a scholarship. And her father overheard us talking and he said, "Why are you thinking about that? High school is good enough to teach your kids." And I was like, wait, what? And he started to explain to me how marriage should be the goal and having children and a family and that support in your life.
Girls don't have trouble meeting boys. They don't need to meet boys outside of school. And I think even more so now that like gender and sexuality is something that we openly talk about, like I think that being a girl and having a network of like sisterhood is important, because no one is going to pick you up like another woman will. And I think that that is something that you get when you get an all-girls education.
Here, we really don't care about what anyone's doing. It's like we do our own thing and you do your own thing, and we're gonna help you like be successful together.
What makes us different is that we're not competing against each other. We're competing to the fact that we're trying to make each other better. There's no such thing as being better than everybody at TWILS of Astoria. What is true at TWILS of Astoria is all of us working to make each other the best that we can be. There's no such thing as saying, oh, I'm better than you because I applied to this college and you didn't. There's no such thing as a girl understanding a certain lesson and not taking the time to sit down with the girl who doesn't understand it and not explain it to her because she wants to be better.
At a 12 school, we have anywhere from 95% to 100% of our students graduating every year. So that is quite a difference from the New York City Department of Education schools. I don't know exactly what the statistic is right now. I know that in New York State it's something like 53%, and in Rochester it's something like 46%. So it is much, much higher.
So not feeling like I was ever good enough was one of my bigger challenges. I excelled in academics, but I think having that component of not feeling emotionally stable or competent, if that makes sense, was something that I was lacking, and TWILS helped me to kind of work on that aspect of who I was as a person. Not so much to just build me up, but give me the tools I needed to be proud of myself, even when I didn't feel like I had that outside of the school walls. So that was really important to me and really helped me to kind of keep moving forward and not stay stagnant. And the fact that I didn't really have the typical family structure, or I didn't know who was going to come to my graduation to celebrate me, but just be in the moment and be excited that I had this family within the school walls. That was really amazing to have.
The biggest thing I love about Twills is the spirit, the family, the students who go there, my friends, my sisters. And I think just the bond that you create at Twills of Astoria is something that you can't create anywhere else in the world. And that's what I love most about Twills, because it's my second home. They're my family. How can you not love your family? I'm not the first person in my family to go to college, but I am the first girl in my family to go to college.